I just got back from New York and I'm gonna go through all of the books that I got because I kind of unintentionally ended up making it like a book buying trip. And then I came home and I also had forgotten that I had ordered from the book outlet. So I'm just gonna go through and show you all the books that I got. Can you tell I just got back? Okay, anywho. Starting off with the obvious, I got Onyx Storm because they were completely out in all of the stores around me. But in New York, they have these puppies everywhere. And I'm only 97 pages in right now, and I haven't gotten on my TikTok in like 3 days because I don't want it to be spoiled. So I need to finish this like by tomorrow. The next place I went to was this cute little bookstore. I will put the name somewhere on the screen. I need to go back and look it up. I got Slaughterhouse-5. Now, I don't know if any of you guys had the same thing, but the Shadowhunter books by Cassie Clare kind of got me back into reading after I took a few years of not really reading a whole lot. But they got me into reading big time. Like, I'm talking saved my life. Like, I could never hate that series. Those books will just forever be special to me. But when the show came out, I obviously watched it. I know that a lot of people don't like it. I ate it up. I have that literally tattooed on me. But Alberto Resende, who plays Simon in the TV series, not the film, he had a book club and I remember watching it years ago and they were reading this. Now, I picked it up now. I mean, I've always wanted to, but I don't know why I never picked it up when I was in store. It's kind of easy to get caught up in book talk and booktube and what's popular and kind of forget what you actually want to read. So one of my goals, or a few of my goals I guess this year, are to read things I actually want to read and also to read more things that pertain to what's going on in the world. This is a big anti-war novel and I think that's what it's mostly known for. So I'm excited to get into this and kind of learn more about it because I feel like I need to make sure I'm not neglecting on reading things that will teach me and allow me to think critically. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of romance books do have undertones and themes where you can think critically on them, but like I want to read more books like this and actually like the next book I got, which I'll go ahead and get into, which is Animal Farm by George Orwell. So this is basically a critique of Stalinist Russia told through a story of the animal farm. But I had actually recently seen something of someone talking about how they just recently reread this and it had parallels to what's going on in this country and the world currently. So I definitely want to pick this up. This is the 75th anniversary edition. The next place I went was the Ripped Bodice, the romance-only bookstore in Brooklyn. First, I have to show you though. I got this really cute tote. I also got a t-shirt and a bookmark. They're just in my stuff that I have yet to unpack. I first got Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I also have A Study in Drowning that's on my physical TBR. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I read the inside synopsis and it looked interesting and I love reading books about women, so that's why I got this. Next, I got Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. I'll just read it from the back to kind of show you why this interested me. I also have heard that the main character is so unlikable, but yet you can't put the book down. I thought that was really interesting. But to kind of read what drew me in, it says, with its totally immersive first-person voice, Yellowface grapples with questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, as well as the terrifying alienation of social media. That's right on with issues that we're facing in the world today, and I think this is a good way, although it's a work of fiction, to think critically about these issues and to read them in a context of a novel such as this one. I'm gonna take a pause. I forgot to tell you, I have matcha. I don't know if I can show you without it tipping. Next up is going to be what I got from the 4-Story Barns in Union Square. All 3 of these books are, I guess, feminist books. So the first one is Invisible Women, Data Bias in a World Designed for Men. It's basically about how a lot of our systems are structured to benefit the man in these systems where they treat men as the defaults and how this bias affects women. And I thought it would be very interesting to read, especially in a time where women are facing getting their rights revoked that we just recently got not very long ago. I think it's interesting to understand how these systems work and try to learn more about the causes of a lot of the things that we deal with. I mean, you can see some of them just by seeing who's in charge of leading this country as well as other countries and how women are systematically oppressed. So I thought that this would be a very good read. Next up is The Feminine Mystique. I read this when I was younger because I was obsessed with 10 Things I Hate About You. That's actually still one of my favorite movies of all time. And Patrick walks up and asks Kat if she's seen where they keep the copies of The Feminine Mystique.
Excuse me, have you seen The Feminine Mystique? I've lost my copy.
And initially I just saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Kat as a character. And I was like, oh, I want to read what she's reading. And then I actually looked more into it when I read it the first time and thought that I would want to go back and read it again because it's been a while. And I also had it on my phone. I didn't have a physical copy and I kind of want to be able to like mark it. So I got this. And then this book is Men Who Hate Women by Laura Bates. One of my good friends recently read this and she said that she would recommend it. It says, from incels to pickup artists, the truth about extreme misogyny, how it affects us all. Like I said, especially now in a world where these type of men that are mentioned in this are running a country, it's incredibly important to learn all that we can and how to fight back against these movements and these attacks on women and attacks on our rights. So that's, I basically kind of went on a roll in the barns of getting nonfiction books because I want to read more nonfiction. I'll try to fit them kind of in between books I'm reading. There's that. So then I came home from New York. So those I got while I was in New York. And then I came home and I remembered that I had ordered from the book outlet. So I have 6 books from the book outlet. I'd heard about the book outlet years ago, but I thought that it was closing down when I looked. I don't know, but it's here now and they have books at a really good price. I think they're just overstock books. But I got Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, and this is basically kind of explores how these 2 women come together to solve a case. And it actually says women who saw past the media's glorification of the Kennedy killers for who he really was. Like I said, I just really love reading about women and powerful women, and I heard that this was a good read, I believe from somebody's booktube. I don't know who off the top of my head, but definitely want to get into that. I also looked every time, okay, if you know me, you know Mafia Romance on Wattpad was my like OG, and every time I watch somebody's Mafia Romance recommendation video, they recommend the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. So I got Brutal Prince, or just Brutal Prince, and I'm super excited to read it. I also got Dare You to Hate Me. I believe this one was on Larissa's sports romance recommendations. That's all I know about this. It's Aiden and Ivy. I think they get accepted to the same university. Sorry, I'm trying to go quickly. My camera's about to die. Next I got Indigo Ridge, which says it's an enemies to lovers with like a murder mystery in it because she's the Newtown sheriff. But I also heard that this was a sports romance. Maybe. I could be completely wrong. If I'm wrong, ignore that. But yeah. Then I got Stinger by Mia Sheridan. This is about 2 people who are thrown together kind of unexpectedly and end up having chemistry. I heard that this was good. I saw it like last year. I wanted to buy it. I didn't. I saw it for the low on the book outlet and I got it. Lastly, before my camera dies, Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. This is about a guy who takes the body parts of humans that were deceased and puts them together to do what he says is to allow the bodies to have a proper burial. And then basically he ends up creating a monster that feeds on humans. And I am incredibly interested to see what kind of undertones are in this. And I've heard, I'm not sure where I heard this from. I think, don't quote me on this, I think her name's Cameron. I'll double check maybe if I remember. I think I saw this on hers, but I could be wrong, but I thought it would be really interesting to read. So before my camera dies, that's what I got in New York and when I came home from New York, and I will see you later.